Hello and welcome to viewers of Good Morning DRC TV. I want to basically give you a wrap up of the news today in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I was just basically rushing to get back into my studio so I can produce this, if you like, video or for you. So it's just so many things has happened today, but I just want to crack on with it without wasting any time. I'm sure you want to hear what's happened in Doha during the meeting with the M23 group. So I'm just basically going to speak and give you the information that I do have. So two items, basically two questions that I'm going to try to answer today. These are questions that we have discussed at length throughout the week. The first relates to Doha discussions meeting in Qatar, and there is a joint statement issued by the parties today. That is the government in Kinshasa and the M23 group, and this is issue of interest to us. This is basically what we're going to talk about. We will examine the format of the dialogue and its consequences. When we talk about consequences, we will now look at the resolution 2773. In the meantime, the M23 will maintain its position, and the Rwanda military will remain on Congolese soil. So this is basically the outcome of this meeting that's happened in Doha. So will this dialogue include practically all the active forces, or will it just favor the M23 and the AFC of Nanga? These are all the small questions we can ask ourselves. But first, let me just read out to you the statement and analyze what actually has been said. In any case, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I know it's bit late. I don't know where you are, but wherever it is that you're following this, I want to basically just crack on with what is happening in what's happening in Doha. And the second question, obviously, I want to talk about is this issue concerning Matata Ponyo Nzala Nzoku. This is the man who had stolen $285 million of the money that was allocated for an agriculture project to feed the population in DRC, but he siphoned this money. He and his bunch buddies split the money between them. This guy deserves to go to jail. I'll just give you an update on what actually transpired in court in his absence, of course. And like I said, I won't be surprised if I hear that this guy crossed over and has joined the M23 group. So here we go. So I'm going to look at that. So this guy is the defendant. He has embezzled the money for Bukangalonzo, but then he's done a runner. Not yet, but he just didn't appear in court. So he snapped the Constitutional Court. He defied the Constitutional Court, refused to appear. He listened to the advice given to him by Vital Kamerhe, and he also willingly followed his lawyers who are just basically playing the game. They want to make the money. But he shouldn't have listened to them. But what's happened basically is that the prosecutor has requested a sentence of at least 20 years with hard labor and the possibility of allowing him to stand for any election for 10 years after that. And the same goes for Gracias Mutoo, the former director of the former director general of the central bank. So you can understand basically this guy Deogas is this country of Congo of mine. Sometimes you just you read some things and you try to understand how can a government function in this way. What kind of people, what kind of servant, what civil servants behave in this world? This guy is a criminal. Unbelievable what they have done to this country and to the people of Congo. in any case. We understand how, I know that you guys want to know what's happening, though. I'll get there in a minute. I will get there in a minute. Let me just basically read out this statement that was put out, this joint statement between the government of Congo and the M23. So I'll read out to you. In the spirit of mutual understanding and a common desire to resolve the conflict by peaceful means, the representative of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and here we are not talking about Kinshasa, but the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the AFC and the M23 have committed to peace talks facilitated by the state of Qatar. By mutual agreement, the parties reaffirm their commitment to immediate cease of hostilities. The family rejects all hate speech and intimidation. They call on local communities to respect their commitment. The two parties undertake to honor the terms of this agreement, thus paving the way for the constructive dialogue to restore lasting peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo and the region. This dialogue will address the root causes of the conflict and the modality for ending it in the eastern territories of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The two parties undertake to respect their commitment from now on and throughout the talks. They call on the Congolese people, religious leaders, traditional leaders, and the media to support and relay their message of peace and hope. That is the content of this joint statement issued by the Democratic Republic of Congo and the AFC of Nanga and the M23 of Paul Kagame. So here, I'm reading this statement. Something in my head is just, I'm not at peace. I'm sorry, but this is not what I expected to read, to hear. This, to me, is not a good position. It's not. So while we are questioning the nature of this famous dialogue, that's true. But yeah, so what is it? We're going to lay down arms. Is that what they've said? So they've asked everybody to lay down their weapons, down their arms. But here's the position of the Wazalendo. The Wazalendo have said this. This statement does not concern us. Bravo to the Wazalendo. That's why I respect, I honor, hats off to the Wazalendo. They've said that this statement does not concern them. I quote, "It is our sisters, our brothers, our mothers who are suffering. It is our villages that are occupied, and we cannot give up." This is the Wazalendo. We must continue to fight. I applaud them. Who can deny them such opportunity? That is what the Wazalendo have said. But here, we're promoting dialogue because we need to talk to each other to find words that will truly bring peace to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Perhaps that is a good thing to do. But let me ask a few questions. Okay, they've had their talk. They've released that statement. But let me just ask this question then. What format will this dialogue take? Will it be the format of the M23? Or would it be a new format? Because the M23 format refers not only to the M23 or the March agreement, but also to Nairobi, which brought together all the armed groups, of which the M23 was one of the most important one. And in these demands, the articulation are also, you must be aware of the 100,000 of refugees that Kagame has always talked about. That these refugees are in Rwanda and they must return to the country, that is to the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is embedded in what the M23 is demanding. And we have to begin to see them settling without agreement in several villages. They have already started moving in. If you don't know, guys, these guys have already started moving in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The so-called refugees that were in Rwanda, especially in the territory of Nyiragongo, in violation of every possible procedure. The political this is what I'm basically saying or reading out to you is their demand, is what the M23 wants. The political integration of the M23 leaders is perhaps this is what they want, the integration of their leaders into the political scene. No matter how much debate, because what the political, we know how they behave. Once they get into a dialogue, the ultimate goal is to share responsibilities, and this is what they want. The next thing is military integration, an issue that should concern every Congolese wherever you are on this earth. This matter concerns you. I don't think there will be a single Congolese who will accept this, because we've had problem in the past, and that is a problem because integration is problematic. It is now disrupting the military structure of the FRDC. If we accept them to be integrated, it will disrupt again, one more time, the structure that we have within the FRDC, ultimately weakening our military. Are we going to accept this once again? We would be naive to do so, and I don't think we can give in. And then there is the creation of a commercial zone that would in fact protect Rwanda through this zone. Are we going to accept this dialogue within this framework, or will they be a broader framework that will in any case integrate all the driving forces of the nation, including the unarmed opposition, civil society, and everyone else, so that we can finally talk about the Democratic Republic of Congo? Let us not forget that there is also a diplomatic campaign led by the priest of Senko, who contacted many countries, the priests who have received money from Uganda, from Rwanda, and Kenya. These traitors, they also have demands. But we must, personally, I disapprove, and I believe many Congolese disapprove of this approach, because they even went to the enemies of the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is Rwanda with Paul Kagame, Uganda with Yoweri Museveni, and William Ruto of Kenya are part of this approach, this trend that never support the Democratic Republic of Congo. But the essence of their approach, which is to bring Congolese together to discuss and consider their future, is not a bad one. I understand what they're doing, but I know that the people that they went to see, they are the enemies of Congo. What a situation are we witnessing right now? This is terrible. However, it is just words. We must now wait and see, because they said that the final report will be submitted to the president of the Republic of the Democratic Republic of Congo to consider. So in this debate, in this talk, whatever, when they finish it, the dialogue, they will submit this to President Felix Tshisekedi to consider. What is there to consider? Will this dialogue be in line with the bishop's desire to broaden the scope of this discussion? Is that the case? Which are currently limited to the Democratic Republic of Congo and the M23, or else they're going to include everybody. I hope that it will broaden the scope, in my point of view. Why? Because if we deal with the M23 alone at this stage of the discussion, we have to exclude the AFC of Nanga as well, which was not involved in the previous discussions. When we now include the demands of the AFC of Corneille Nanga stroke Joseph Kabila, so this time we will also have to include the demands of other active forces. But the most fundamental question is this. Yes, you are asking. You want us to stop hostilities. But in other words, will you support the M23 in keeping the occupied territory? Will they go? Or in the meantime, will they stay? This is not clear to me altogether, but I need to understand, when the Congolese government is engaging with these criminals to this level, what are they saying? What are they asking for? In return, what do you get? This is crazy. It's unbelievable. How did we get here? So I haven't heard anything about the Rwanda soldiers leaving the DRC soil. I haven't heard that. I have not heard this anywhere in this statement that they are going to leave. Or will they just be there until they finish the dialogue? If that's the case, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I don't quite understand. Because as you are well aware, there is still a great risk that Resolution 2773 will call on Rwanda to withdraw its troops. This has already been articulated that Rwanda needs to get its troops out of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So why are we entering into this kind of dialogue, yet they're still there on our soil? That is crazy. That is crazy. So the M23 is being asked to withdraw at the same time. The resolution 2723 has asked the M23 to lay down its arms and for Rwanda to withdraw its troops from the DRC. The United States is also asking Rwanda to withdraw its troops and the M23 to withdraw to some or the occupied zone. So what do we do now? We have followed the European Union and many other countries and organizations around the world. So if in this joint statement we have read, or if I understand it correctly, then what is it here? What are we doing with the M23? Why are we tossing around, going around the bush, trying to get what? Because it's clear that they must lay down their arms and Rwanda must withdraw its troops from our soil. Okay, we will find a way to talk or to dialogue, but these conditions must first of all be met. If they have not been met and yet we're engaging in this, then I think this will be in contradiction with Resolution 2773. It will not be well received, especially since this is a matter of duty. It would not be well received. We must also consider the consequences of keeping the military on Congolese soil until the dialogue has taken place or been concluded. If we allow the M23 to maintain its position of occupation until now, we will be in contradiction with all the Nairobi process, which has required all the armed forces or rebel groups or militia groups to lay down their arms. That's what the Nairobi process is all about, which called for the withdrawal of these troops in order to proceed with their identification before any possible discussion. Because we don't know who's Rwandese and who is Congolese. We don't know. Because it's just a mixture of everybody and everything together. They must be identified. Who are we dealing with? Who are we dealing with? Therefore, I believe this is not the time to take such actions, given that more serious leaders have decided on how to proceed by asking Rwanda to withdraw its troops. But look at something else. Look at something else. That many people don't know if it's being missed or what. So the M23, they're also asking for the 5 names of the people that are supposed to be released. You remember my video yesterday, but here we've got names of the 5 prisoners who have committed crimes indescribable. These people have killed, they committed war crimes, they have done untold or cause untold suffering to the Congolese, but yet the M23 is asking for these people to be released before they can engage in this talk. Can you believe that? And look, who are they asking for? Here are the names of the people they're asking for. The Rwandan Major General Eric Murokore, Commander-in-Chief of the FRDC. Yeah, because you have to understand that many of these people, they are Rwandan or they are Rwandese. So he was a major in FRDC, but yet he was working for Rwanda. So they're also asking for Eric. So you've got Eric. So let me just read the name. So Eric Murokore, Commander-in-Chief, and his son, Murokore Musabe. They want them to be released. And the other one is Colonel Santos Mugisha, military officer of FRDC, and Remy Nganguyuma. These guys were working for the Rwandan Security Services agent. And the other one is Josette, who was working for the intelligence service. They were arrested because they tried or they were planning to shoot down the president's plane or aircraft. Why? Because they had they planned a coup. They wanted to kill the head of state. They wanted to shoot down his plane. And they found places to stay near the airport in Njili, Airport Njili, the airports there. They bought a premises or a property and they hid themselves there. They were preparing to shoot down his plane. And they were arrested. They've been in prison now for almost about 4 years. So, I mean, and these people is the one that they are asking to be released before they can engage in this conversation. I don't believe this. Who's going to give into this? Who's going to give into this? So the same thing that had happened to Juvenal Habyarimana is what they had planned to do to President Felix Tshisekedi by these people that I've just quoted their name. So the M23 is demanding that they release the advisor of Corneille Nangaa, Eric Makuba. Eric Makuba, and the big fish, the big cat, Edouard Mwangachuchu. They should be released before any dialogue or discussion can take place. I'm boiling. I am boiling. I'm furious. I'm very upset. I'm very upset. Who can engage in this kind of conversation? So that is how we agree to proceed. Now, I don't know who's the, I wanted to use some terminology here that is not good for my listeners, so I refrain myself from letting out my anger, but I'll hold myself down. So who's going to do this? Who's going to sign this? Who's going to commit to such a thing? I thought that the Democratic Republic of Congo will gain the immediate withdrawal of Rwandan troops from the Congolese soil, from our soil. I thought this is what will be the outcome of this meeting in Doha. The unconditional withdrawal of M23 from all areas it currently occupies. And only then can we consider dialogue and to identify, of course, the issues that are eating away the Democratic Republic of Congo. If it is necessary to include other active forces, we must. I believe that this would be a very good thing to bring everybody else, because the M23 is not the only armed group. Okay, so why promote this M23, making it as the beacon of all these things that are going on in the east there? They're not special, but we're making them special in the AFC of Nangaa. No. From my point of view, we must be consistent. We must be consistent. Let's not rush into this. Let's be patient. Let's take our time and let's nail these people down and not give in to their demands. That's my point of view. I understand that Kinshasa delegation has failed. That's just my conclusion. They have failed. If they have given into this, then they have failed. If not, then they're in the process of failing by not demanding the immediate withdrawal of the M23 military forces and the immediate of the withdrawal of the M23 from all the position it currently occupies. This was wrong and went against the UN Security Council Resolution 2773, against the United States, against the resolution of the European Union, and against the will of our brothers and sisters who are currently occupied and living in difficult conditions as a result of this aggression. Sorry, folks, this drives me off the wall. It's not right. Something here isn't right, and I don't like it. I don't, not at all. Let you move on to the second item on my agenda today, was to the question of what is happening in the court there about Matata Mponyo. So what's going to happen exactly to Matata Mponyo? So I said Matata Mponyo is very badly advised. Matata Mponyo follows Vital Kamerhe, the president of the National Assembly, who is a bad advisor to him. Matata Mponyo Nzalanzoko. Listen to somebody's name, Nzalanzoko. He's never satisfied, always wanting more money and more money. So he has defied the court, but you cannot defy the constitutional court. You cannot snap the country's high court, because there is no court above that. That is the grand finale. That is the top. You don't go anywhere else. There's nothing above it. And so Matata Mponyo did not listen. He did not go And today, the trial was held in his absence, and the public prosecutor proposed a penalty of 20 years of imprisonment with hard labor and 10 years to be deprived of the rights to stand for election. The same goes for the other geezer or the other guy, Gracias Mutoo. Millions that they have taken from the Congolese people, taxpayers' money, when people are dying of starvation, they haven't got food in their stomach, yet these vampires are basically filling their own little nuclear family, and that's all they're concerned about. So sad. So sad as I look at the situation that this country is going through. So I'm asking myself, what has he, that is Matata Mponyo, achieved by not going? I understand that he realized that he was going to be in a difficult situation. This guy is going to do a runner. I know he's going to join, I shouldn't say I know, but I feel he's going to join the M23 group. It was simply a matter of following the reports of the IGF. They began by saying that they had conducted this investigation into Matata Mponyo, Augustin. And we all know that Matata Mponyo cut short his mission where he was in West Africa. He claimed that he returned to face justice. But today it is impossible to believe that same Matata Mponyo is unable to face justice. So what was he on about? The IGF report clearly shows that companies were dispersed this money, or these companies were created by Matata Mponyo himself, and they had shared this money amongst them. Africom was created 3 years before the start of Bukangalonjo project and was able to benefit from such project. These people just basically create these companies and they give them projects like this because it belongs to them. They can share the money, the proceeds of these things. So I understand that there was not a tender for it. So there are a lot of things here that Matata has basically failed to do. He employed his wife, who was looking after a lot of things, family members involved in these things. He was not supposed to do this. This was crazy. And on May 14th, the court will return. This May coming, the court is going to consider all matters before it and deliver its verdict on the 14th of May. Like I said, this guy is going to do a runner. I have a feeling he will do that because he knows he's facing jail time. And good for him if he does go to jail. But I'm going to follow this position of the court. I will let you know how things obviously will unfold in the time to come. Listen, I can't really carry on. I have I can't carry on. It's just I feel let down by the situation in Doha today. I feel really let down. It shouldn't be, but what has transpired there is absolutely crazy in my opinion. It is absolutely crazy. No matter what happens, Matata can forget it because there is no FCC. Joseph Kabila is not here to save his skin. He must face justice. He must go to jail. That is what is awaiting him. Listen, friends, this is all that I have time for. I did everything so I can just get this to you. I know it's late, but please, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, share this link with other people. Let me know what you think about matters we have discussed, and let's build this community. We have to. If you don't understand or don't see the dangers that is going around, or at least is coming to us as Congolese, this is the time to wake up and to do something about it. Please don't fall asleep on these matters. Wake up and smell the rat. It's terrible, and we must do something about this. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye for now.